Welcome back to another episode of the Simply Ball Drop podcast. Man, we got to talk about it, man. Things got real heated in the ESPN studios as Ryan Clark completely destroyed Dan Orlovsky over his Arch Manning generational take. Now, we've seen Dan Orlovsky's bad take on Shedeur Sanders, and Ryan Clark has had enough. But we're going to unpack all that here next, here on the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. Well, guys, man, I'm here to tell you, man, it seems like Ryan Clark has had enough of Dan Orlovsky's bad takes when it comes to these quarterbacks. Now, we all seen and we've all heard Dan Orlovsky's take on Shedeur Sanders. We also seen him compare Dillon Gabriel to Shedeur Sanders. We also heard him come out of his own mouth and stated that Dillon Gabriel put out better game tape than Shedeur Sanders. And Ryan Clark has no hesitation of confronting him and going in on him and max ethering him over some of his takes when it comes to certain quarterbacks. Now, we all know what's going on. We all know what's going on in college right now. We all know what's going on. We got this Arch Manning hype train that's going on, talking about he is a generational talent. And a lot of people saying it's because of the namesake, the Manning sake. You know, you got the uncles and Eli and Peyton, but you got to understand something. Arch Manning's father was not even a quarterback. He was an athlete, but it's the Manning household name. And Dan Orlovsky is believing the hype. And every chance Dan Orlovsky gets, he keeps on bigging up Arch Manning to make Arch Manning one of the greatest quarterbacks he's seen in college history. Now, there's a long list of quarterbacks that we can talk about in college that was great. But the thing about it is Dan Orlovsky's takes on these quarterbacks, because Dan Orlovsky was a quarterback himself. And like I stated to you guys, man, Dan Orlovsky likes mediocrity. He likes mediocre players because he was a mediocre quarterback himself. And Dan Orlovsky takes on these quarterbacks is downright asinine. And Ryan Clark wastes no time in destroying everything that he has to say about these quarterbacks. Now, Ryan Clark has exposed a lot of people on their bad takes. And Ryan Clark on national television, on ESPN, destroyed Dan Orlovsky and almost had Dan Orlovsky in tears. But before we get off into that, we partnered up with Underdog Fantasy, and it's football time. So make sure you're following Simply Ball Dropping as I give you my pick and my players on the over and under so you can make yourself some extra cash. And this is a word from our sponsor. Underdog Fantasy is the best way to play fantasy sports. Let me tell you about the easiest way to get in on some WNBA and NBA action. Find your player, pick higher or lower, win you some extra cash. Pick between 2 to 5 players to fill out your pick'em entry, get every pick right, and win some serious cash. Use my promo code SBD23 and receive up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Now that it's football time, follow Simply Ball Dropping as I share my picks. Like I said, pick your player, choose your amount, win money. Make picks, win cash. Thank you, Underdog Fantasy, for the partnership with us. And thank you for using promo code SBD23 on Underdog Fantasy. Well, guys, let's get right off into it. Let's listen how Ryan Clark completely destroyed Dan Orlovsky live on TV and almost had Dan Orlovsky in tears. Let's take a listen.
After his debut and what we saw, do you consider Arch Manning a generational quarterback talent?
100%. Can you define to me what that means?
Well, generational talent would be that you have physical attributes that are rare and unique. And Arch Manning 1,000% has that. And it's not a conversation. When did 6'4", 225 pounds, 4'5", 4'6" in the 40.
None of those things.
100%. He's 100% 6'4", 220 plus pounds, and is like 4'5", 4'6" in the 40. Got clocked at 21 miles an hour on GPS. When did that not become at the quarterback spot generational physical ability, let alone elite, rare bloodlines when it comes to the quarterback position? That's generational. That doesn't mean that he's going to become a Hall of Famer, but that's generational talent. When we're talking about 21 miles per hour on GPS, that's what, and this is said with all due respect and admiration, that's Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson type GPS numbers, 21 miles an hour. So that's what he's a generational talent. And I know everyone got caught up in the week one performance and all that. I could go through a list of a lot of cats in their first college starts against real opponents, not against less opponents, real opponents, having much less numbers statistically than Arch Manning.
It's not about, but that's the thing though, Dan. Like you're trying to play this numbers game.
No.
We don't have to play a numbers game.
But that's where we got caught up in.
But the thing is this though, we don't have to play a miles per hour game to know that Arch Manning running the football ain't like Lenora Sellers running the football at South Carolina.
Sure.
Right? We don't have to play a numbers game to know that Arch Manning running the football wasn't like Jaden Daniels running the football versus Florida when he went for 250.
Yeah.
Those things are not the same. I don't care what this little vest you wear on top of your nipples say. And what I hate about it is I think Arch Manning is going to be a really good quarterback. Right. I think Arch Manning is talented. I love that he got dog in him. But generational talent is different. Who are generationally talented quarterbacks to you?
I mean, present day or college kids?
If you go present
day. Like in the NFL?
In the NFL. Who's a
Lamar.
He ain't Lamar.
I'm not saying he's Lamar.
But it's the other thing, though. The people you're comparing him to, right? Like, let's just talk about the people you're comparing him to. You know what Lamar Jackson had by this point in college? A Heisman.
But Lamar played a lot more. He had stopped.
Because he was that good.
RC, Lamar's first start, he went 9 of 20 with a pick.
This is his third start. Stop saying it's
against
his
a real opponent.
It's his third.
Against a real opponent.
And also, too,
okay, so we can go to
year in college.
But he hasn't played bowling.
Because you know why? Because if you're Trevor Lawrence and you're a transcendent generational quarterback talent, Kelly Bryant can be the incumbent starter, take you to the college football playoff. You can only have played okay. And Dabo Swinney could go, you are so damn talented, Kelly Bryant got to sit on the bench. You can have Spencer Rattler, who was the Heisman frontrunner going into the season, who was a projected first-round pick. And you could have Caleb Williams, and it could be mid-season, and you say, no, he's too good. I can't keep him on the bench. Quinn Ewers,
okay,
a seventh-round pick.
Kept him on the bench.
Kept him on the bench for 2 years.
But you and I both know we're in a very different era when it comes to that with NIL. Quinn Ewers was making a lot of NIL money.
Now, boy, Ryan Clark went in on him, man. Now, you heard all the excuses that Dan Orlovsky came up with, and Ryan Clark ate it and ethered him, gave it to him. See, this is what I'm talking about, mainstream media and these old quarterbacks stuck in their ways. Because like I said, Dan Orlovsky likes mediocrity. And Ryan Clark ate him up. He made reference to Quinn Ewers. He couldn't even take the job away from Quinn Ewers. And then he talked about Trevor Lawrence, how he stepped into and took the job away from the starter. Then he talked about Kelly Bryant. Then he talked about Jaden Daniels running the football. Arch Manning don't compare to none of that. Arch Manning last year had that one run where he went 68 yards for a touchdown, and now Arch Manning is supposed to be some Lamar Jackson type. And Ryan Clark ate him up. See, this is what I'm talking about. All the bad takes that Dan Orlovsky has had on these quarterbacks, and you see what they've done. I'm going to keep on using this word on my platform. It's all smoke and mirrors. See, this is what they try to do. They trying to deflect and get the situation off of Shedeur Sanders, because Shedeur Sanders, when he gets his chance, he is going to elevate and he's going to humble a lot of these media personnel that doubted him, such as Dan Orlovsky and Paul Feinbons of the world. And he is going to let them have it. Even the likes of Tony Grossi, he's going to let these cats have it when Shedeur gets his chance to make an NFL splash on the big stage. And this is what they do. See, Dan Orlovsky, as an ex-quarterback, some things he say is just straight out asinine. And Ryan Clark completely let him have it. I see everybody in the comment section, hashtag salute. Y'all guys get down in the comment section and let me know what y'all think about the comments that Dan Orlovsky said about Arch Manning and how Ryan Clark completely destroyed him live on national television, almost had him in tears. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball Dropping drops another hot banger. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We'll catch you on the next one. Just in case I forgot. Tell a friend and tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.